congratulations on the signing. Was it much of a? Did you resist too much temptation to join Dad's team?
It's interesting that the commentary around it all, and yeah, I've said to a few people my first contract extension I signed was before I'd played a game, and there was no thought in it at all. They just said, here's 2 more years, and of course I signed it. But yeah, certainly there's a bit of interest, and that's really flattering, and I think it probably makes you think a little bit more about what's probably the best thing for you to do. And at the end of the day, I love Melbourne. That was the thing. I just couldn't even think about leaving. I'm very loyal to this place, and a lot of people have put a lot of work into me, so I'm keen to repay that faith.
Things changed a bit since the start of the year, Angus. Like, obviously you weren't playing, left out of the side. I'm sure you're frustrated, dominated in the VFL, and now you're doing the same at AFL level. Is your mindset different now to what it may have been at the start of the year?
Look, I think the biggest thing for me this year's just been playing footy, and that's probably something consistency-wise that I've lacked. And yeah, I would have loved to have been playing AFL earlier in the start of the year, but I think if maybe things would have changed if I played AFL from the start, would I be here? And people could argue one way or the other, but certainly it's well behind me now, and I think I've put a good, geez, how long's it been? A couple of months or whatever of footy together. So you know, I'm happy with where everything's at, and I'm thankful. I think the thing, you know, that's been consistent through me playing wherever has been the care from teammates and coaches has always been to try and make me a better player. So I'm conscious of that, and although I would have loved to have been playing, it's I think it's for the better.
How seriously did you entertain the offers, Angus? There are obviously quite a few around.
I mean, there was, yeah, as I said, it's flattering, the interest, and it's probably a new experience for me. But I mean, the thing was, and I've said before, I love Melbourne, and the thing was always going to be, I love the players, I love the coaches, I love the environment, and I think, you know, it's Louie sitting here talking before. I look back at, you know, the group of players that went through at Hawthorn with him, Hodge and Mitchell and Ruffy and Buddy, were able to win sustained success, flags, and I think, you know, without comparing us too closely, I see that potential with our young players who have all sort of signed on over the last couple of years and months. So it was something I was really keen to be a part of, and yeah, I mean, the interest was flattering, but I love Melbourne too much.
So you believe success is around the corner?
I mean, yeah, I'm a big believer in it, and I think that you know, our core of young guys is developing together and has been together through some hard times, and I think we've become really close. And I think if you look across the ground, we've got most posts covered. You know, Gorney's probably he's 26, so he's probably just outside that. But you know, Hogues, Clary, Petraka, you know, we've got some young guys who are developing together, and I think that if you're not believing in us from the internally perspective, then you've got to be doing something different. So we certainly think we're on the right track. We think the coaches are doing a great job, and you know, progress isn't always linear, and we're pretty conscious of that. You get ups and downs, and we're just, you know, devoted to the path we're walking, and we think it's the right one. So we're gonna stick to it.
Are you excited to play alongside Jordan in a 300th game? That's a pretty great experience for you young guys.
Oh yeah, it's unbelievable. Obviously, it's going to be a huge game, and we all love playing in big games. But I think from a more broad perspective, what Louie's been able to do for this club in the short time he's been here is, you know, probably underestimated. I mean, you know, you think he's a Hawthorn person, and you know, he's just sort of been traded here, but he's invested so totally into the club. And I think the way we play, and certainly when I look at my own vision, there's little nuances that he's such a critical thinker and a different thinker, the way he thinks about footy. And I just see, you know, his fingerprints all over what I do now, and even the club, how we play. So I'm very appreciative of everything he's done, and yeah, it's a big honour to be able to play alongside him through his 300th game. He's a superstar of the competition.
So he's helped you personally quite a lot with your development?
Oh, absolutely. And I think, you know, 4-time premiership player, All-Australian, best and fairest in the premiership year, and I think sometimes we might, you know, hold him up on a pedestal, and that's fair because he's a superstar, but, you know, a little bit cautious around him because he's so much better than I am, or he's won all these games that I haven't won, and he's a superstar. But yeah, he and I from pretty early on got along really well, and the things he's been able to teach me, and as I said before, he just really wants to give back to the club. So, you know, I've been getting everything out of him while I still can. He's hopefully got a few more years left in him though.
The Paddy Dangerfield nominated ruckman scenario, how frustrating was that?
It's pretty frustrating, yeah. It's I think it's a tough one, isn't it? Because I'd be interested to see, by a show of hands, all the other players who knew he was rucking at the time as well on the field. So I think, and the umpires, I feel bad for the umpires because they've got no choice but to, you know, umpire the rules as they're interpreted. So by letter of the law, I was probably in the wrong, or I was definitely in the wrong. But yeah, it's frustrating, and I don't think it's a good look. Imagine if it was a last minute of a grand final and they kick a goal to win, and it's probably the worst possible look, I think, for the game. So it's a tough one, and the rules committee is doing their thing. So it's far from me to offer them too much advice, but you move on pretty quickly.
How did you feel when you heard about Kobe Stevens?
It's a real tough one, isn't it? So I remember reaching out to him after it happened last year and sort of saying, well, obviously I know how you're feeling, because it was me. It would have been me if it happened a couple of months ago. So, but I never thought that it would probably get this far, and it's really hard to see, and I feel really bad for him. But at the same time, he's doing what's best for his long-term health, and I think that's got to be number one. And obviously, it is the most important thing, because he wouldn't have made this decision if he didn't think it was absolutely necessary. So I think it's a bit of a reminder about how serious concussions are, and it's not lost on me whatsoever. So, I just wish him all the best. And I mean, I think it's a bit of a reminder about how serious it is.
It's pretty scary.
Yeah, I think that's it gets lost a little bit, because sometimes you hear about it a lot in the media, and it's maybe sometimes another concussion, but I think this is a real impact that it's had on a real person, and he's not playing anymore. And it's happened before, but I think for me personally, having been a part of the incident that has ultimately led to this, it's really hard.
How desperate are you as a group to prove yourself against the best teams, given some of the results haven't gone your way this year? Yeah,
absolutely. I think those close games it's more finals like, and the bigger the game, the more tightly contested it'll be for longer. So putting ourselves in those positions, and we've lost a couple of them, but I think that's where you really grow as a player and as a group. So as Goody said before, we've had a really in-depth look at that last 10 minutes of play, and for the first 3 quarters and a bit, we were doing everything that we would have liked. But it's the good teams are the ones who step up when the moment comes, and unfortunately in the past we probably haven't been able to do that consistently. But that's our next growth, and it's really exciting for us as a group to take that step. And we're still in it right at the moment, so we've got a big game coming up this weekend, so hopefully another opportunity to really put ourselves in a good position to win.
The noise that you haven't beaten a top 8 team, is that even on your radar as a playing group?
No, I wouldn't have thought that many players would give too much thought to it. We're pretty process driven here, and the coaches do a really great job of keeping everything consistent, depending on whether we win or lose. The process remains the same to becoming a great team. So the stats are out there, and people sort of read into it a bit, and obviously we would have liked to have won every game this year, let alone against the top 8. So I think, as I said before, you grow when you put in those really tough situations, and the more we can do that, I think the better we'll be for it. And the best teams are the ones who are around September, and we certainly want to be one of those teams, maybe causing headaches for some other teams later down the track. But as I said, it's a week-to-week thing for us, and it's a bit of a cliche, but it's the way the coaches have set things up, and I think it's really beneficial as a young group to get that consistency.
Good luck.
Thanks, Angus.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.